You done goofed. Because I back traced it, doing it, and you've been reported to the cyber police. Guess what? Consequences will never be the same.
everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
You know she's getting filled by some black stud. You know there's some black fucking bull that's just filling her with cock meat, giving her the real fuck she deserves. Some big black bull just filling her with cock meat. And that's his crazy talk.
All right, folks, how we all doing tonight? And we are live in the chat. Eldritch fans and says, my dog died last night. I could really use something to cheer me up, so make this a funny one. Well, hopefully we will do just that. Very sorry for your dog. I know how that is. Everyone in the chat, press F for the bass doggo. And remember, if you don't believe in doggy heaven, you can take your erroneous theology elsewhere. So, I'm a little bored tonight, and I felt like, you know what? Why don't we learn about history? I want to learn about some history. I bet you want to learn about some history too. Oh, is that not what this one's called? Oh no, I had the wrong title. I completely botched my setup. Oh, I thought the title of the stream we were going to watch was something about learning history. I think there was a clip I saw somebody posted that was about learning history. But no, we're going to watch a little something by David Serini about how the left is worshiping. I thought that said Satan at first glance, but no, Saturn. They're worshiping Saturn. We're gonna learn about that because I want to learn about that. I don't know about you, but I want to learn about how they're worshiping Saturn. Real quick, let me refresh my memory because I don't really remember the Roman god names. I'm a little more familiar with the Greek god names. It's basically the same thing with different names. Maybe that's a bit of an oversimplification, but from what I understand, the Romans just changed the names. Saturn god. What was Saturn the god of? Saturn was a Roman god of architecture and harvest. He was the father of Circe, Jupiter, Veritas, and others. So he was the god of the harvest. What was he in Greek again? Greek name. Saturn, Greek name was Kronos. Apparently Saturn was Kronos. I thought Kronos was just the god of time. Isn't that where we get, the root word for chronography, for that sort of thing? I thought Kronos was just a god of time. Oh well. I don't claim to be an expert on Greek mythology. I only have a basic understanding. So we're going to talk to a big brain Niva tonight. We're going to listen to a big brain Niva. Let's see. Looks like we got Bechtloff works in a box factory in the chat. Yes, I do. Aldrich fan says, I wanted a funny one. Davis Arini just might be the answer to my prayers. Well, there you go. I assume you were praying to Saturn, and he answered your prayers. Let's see.
Howdy ho, folks.
Oh, I think I might. Let me check too. Okay, audio should be fine. I guess we'll go into image share here in a second. And hang on, folks. I know Boomer Hour. So it sounds like the audio's fine. I'm gonna go into Windows Capture because you got to see this awesome lighting effects from David Sereni's video as always.
How is your evening going? Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. And got a good story to start things off with. So
it's Columbus Day tomorrow, isn't it? I think I saw a bunch of leftists posting like, fucking Columbus, am I right? Evil Columbus. It's Columbus Day. You know, I find myself a little torn on Columbus personally. Because on the one hand, I mean, I really did like Gremlins, but on the other hand, I don't know, Jingle All the Way was pretty terrible. So I really don't know how I feel about him.
One of my buddies from work, friend requested me. And I noticed his profile picture. He's wearing kind of like this white Asian style jacket.
Never accept friend requests from coworkers. Unless you really know they're cool. No, do not. I'll accept friend requests from like former coworkers. I don't give a shit. If I'm not working with you anymore, fine. Fuck it, I don't care. You want to deal with the fucking maymays? That's sure. But not from current ones. No, that is more trouble than it's worth.
And it immediately reminded me of that guy in The Matrix who Neo has to fight in the second episode. Right? The guy with the white Asian jacket. And so I immediately sent him a message saying, dude, you look like that guy from The Matrix. But then I realized something. You can say that to anybody.
No, we can say this to you, Davis, but no, most people don't walk around dressed like they're the fucking Matrix.
You can say that to anybody and they don't know whether it's a compliment or an insult. So that's my new thing is hey, dude, you kind of look like that dude from The Matrix. Or say to a woman, hey, you kind of look like that chick from The Matrix. You can say it to anybody, and they don't quite know how to take it.
Riveting content. Let's skip ahead a
so
little bit.
So that's my funny story for all y'all.
It was a gut buster.
Apparently, Andrew Scheer went out yesterday and promised that if he gets elected, he is going to ban marijuana. So it just got legalized in this country, and I hate marijuana. You really shouldn't smoke marijuana. It kills your motivation, saps your energy. It's like loser in.
You should do cocaine like a real man. You should abuse Trembling like till your dick doesn't work like a real man.
In a blunt, right? It's smokable loser. That's what marijuana is. The drug of losers.
Everything with Davis is so surface level. Davis doesn't like marijuana because of marijuana culture, because of the image surrounding marijuana. It has nothing to do with what marijuana may or may not actually fucking do to an individual who smokes it. It's marijuana is the leftist drug. That's why Davis hates it. It's very much a cosplay kind of thing. You know, it's why Davis will go on about all the, he actually will praise psychedelic drugs and things of that nature, like fucking Jordan Peterson or something, because, it expands your mind.
So I'm not a fan of it. But I don't want the cops wasting time prosecuting people for it. I don't want the cops looking at me driving down the street and saying, hey, that guy looks like he might have marijuana in his car. Let's pull him over. My mother doesn't want the cops thinking that about, because people her age smoke marijuana. So she looks like she's riding dirty when marijuana is illegal. The cops are happy that it's not illegal because they want to, say what you will about the cops. Ultimately, they want to prosecute real crimes.
Do they?
Yes, Ebola. That would be the one. I'm not going to repeat it. And so Andrew Scheer says he's going to make it. Nobody wants it illegal. I don't like it, but I don't want it to be illegal.
That's lovely. Let's skip ahead some.
BMW is worthless as status symbol, but it's still a really high-end car with a lot of features on it, so you can go for those.
Any idea where I can get a 97 Mazda?
Anyway, we had something to talk about. We can get back to the cars later. Obviously, I've got a whole bottle of that drug that kills the pain of being a man.
You could spend an hour psychologically dissecting that last sentence he just said.
Ivy Bolade says, I bought a used car from dealership that was a year-old rental, served me well for the past 10 years. And that's kind of the exception, right? Because nobody wants the rental vehicle. But if it's been maintained, right? If you can probably still get an extended warranty on it, that'll actually be a really good car. Probably. Again, new cars, you have the absolute guarantee that it's perfect. And if it's not, they fix it so it becomes perfect. Used vehicles, it's always a gamble. Evening, Haythroom. And with Haythroom...
Guys, very rarely should you buy a new car. If you get a really, really good deal, there are rare exceptions where you get a really, really good deal. But no, get a used car. Get a used car and just... My first car was a Volvo 240. I paid $2,000 from it. It's a friend of the family who made his living selling used Volvos, because Volvos, when they get in an accident, at least back then, the body style is way different these days, but at least back then, 80s, 90s, probably into the early 2000s, I think, they had a very box-like design that was designed to fold up. They were the safety car. They were designed to fold up, and a lot of times, especially if they were hit in the back, it really only required not a large investment in body work in order to be able to turn it around when it's quote-unquote totaled and sell it again. So that's what he did for a living. And he made a lot of money doing that for a lot of years. The Volvo 240s was his big thing. So I got a Volvo 240 off of him. This was 2001-ish. And it was an 89. It was an old car. I mean, it was a 10-year-old car, but that thing served me well for so long. I almost regret selling it and upgrading it. Like, I got a little bit of inheritance money and I upgraded it to a nicer car, and but I'd have probably still had that Volvo 240. The thing was a fucking tank. That thing probably still runs. Had no problems whatsoever. And it was a shitty old car. It had a tape deck in it. I had one of those things because we were all listening to CDs back then. Yeah, I know you all fucking Zoomers don't know what I'm talking about. But we were listening to CDs back then. And I had one of those things that like plugged into a CD player. And then the other end of it was basically a tape. Like a cassette tape with a wire sticking out of it that you could put into a tape deck. And play whatever was on the CD player through the tape deck. That's how I played CDs in my car. Well, yeah, it was fucking Volvo. It was the ultimate in not status symbol car, too. This wasn't a car you pick up because it looks cool and you think you're going to get some pussy. I mean, I didn't need a car to get some pussy, all right? Yeah. It was a car I got because I needed a car. Living up here, living in this rural-ass area, trust me, you're basically under house arrest if you don't have a fucking car. So I got a car because I needed one. And that is honestly what I suggest to anybody else. I don't know how the used car market is. Whatever. But generally speaking, I'm going to say get yourself a little shit box that isn't expensive because nobody wants it, but it runs just fine. That's especially if you're young and starting out. Don't get a new car. Again, rarely is it. Maybe if you get an absolute good deal, but that's the rare exception. Do not buy a new car. It's one of the most foolish financial decisions you can make. All right, let's keep going with our car guy here with fucking Canadian Top Gear up here.
Entrance. Let's get back to what we were talking about. Ouija board is bad because you're opening the door to forces that you are not prepared to deal with. That's nothing compared to wearing a symbol that you don't understand. Don't worry, we'll get back to talking about cars. You don't have to twist my arm to talk about cars.
Yeah, that's his latest cosplay. Are we really going with a lot of this Ooga Booga Pagan shit again? Are we really going Ouija boards and I'm sorry, I have a hard time believing that fucking Parker Brothers literally sells a device that can open the gates of hell at fucking Target that an 8-year-old can purchase. Like I Ouija boards are bullshit. Can we all just all agree with that?
Again, wearing a symbol that you don't understand is like wearing a flag in the wrong neighborhood. I did that video about Keck, the satanic inversal of it, all of that. I did that video quite some time back. All you guys...
Yeah, remember when he was going on about the Keck meme? And it was, you were playing with dark gods and all? Remember that? And then remember that compared to then, like a year later, he's in a fucking pagan cult? You remember that? Because Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Thought, and I think I was pretty thoroughly proven true. I actually think that video did a lot to deflate Keck. Sadly, thanks to the demon worshippers at YouTube, I no longer have as much reach as I once did. So I did a lot to...
No, Davis. No. The demon worshippers at YouTube had nothing to do with it. Fucking Keck had nothing to do with it. Saturn had nothing to do with it. Any other group you want to name had nothing to fucking do with it. You did it. Because, okay, fine. By the way, this is why Davis will never go back to YouTube. You know, he says, oh, I don't want to go to YouTube because of the censorship. As if Twitch wasn't way fucking worse. No, he wants to stay on the shitty platforms because then he has an excuse. He will forever have an excuse. Davis Arini's, fucking live streams can't get more than 10 live views because of how he was done wrong by YouTube. And this isn't just him. There's a lot of people in the right-wing circles that love playing up the victims. Like, I get it. I get the... David Serini shouldn't have been kicked off YouTube. Nobody should be fucking kicked off YouTube unless they're basically committing a crime. If they're posting child pornography, if they're posting actual fucking threats, if they're actually advocating violence, that sort of thing, things that are illegal to say should get you kicked off YouTube. And that's it. That should be the only bar. Maybe some stuff goes in an adult-only mode or something, but that should be it. That should be it across the board on social media, if you ask me. If it's legal to say, it's legal to post. That should be the only fucking criteria. So David Serini should have never gotten deplatformed off YouTube. I don't support Owen Crazy fucking Moon Jew Benjamin getting demonetized. I don't support none of that shit. That said, though, he will never go back for the simple fact that he wants this excuse. He wants to rewrite history that the reason his audience is absolutely beyond decimated from where it was a year and a half ago. 2 years, something like that. Is because he was deplatformed. He was deplatformed. That's why. No, Davis, that's not what happened. You chased your audience away. You did. Okay? I had to go to a backup channel for basically half of 2017 or 28, whatever. For like 6 months out of a year, I had to go to a backup channel. I had to go to the Landshark channel. Just to be able to stream. I was demonetized for a large chunk. I was demonetized during the fucking heyday of our feud when I could have been raking in the super chats. Okay? Sucked. Matt Forney had to go into D-Live and Twitch. Ralph Tour got chased from channel to channel to channel. On and on it goes. And none of those people, myself included, none of them absolutely decimated their audience. Yeah, you lose some people because some people aren't paying a great deal of attention, and they don't see where you went or whatever. Fine, whatever. But yeah, it's this nonsense that YouTube did this to you. Come on.
Inflate Keck. Nomine Patri Filii et Spiritus Sancti, Lord, all glory goes to you. He gave me the insight, I made the video, that's all.
I'm amazed he prayed to God and not Mary.
Not bragging about it, I'm simply stating it did have an effect. And I noticed, at least maybe it was just in my personal life, the Keck energy just evaporated. The whole Kekistan thing really, it became cringeworthy very quickly thereafter, so.
Yeah, memes run their course, Davis.
Meanwhile, idiots like Baked Alaska was posting pictures of himself covering up one eye Illuminati style, then he gets acid thrown in his eye at a... Some people don't learn.
Indeed.
It's not bragging about it, just stating the fact. So right now we have the human extinction movement going on. Human extinction movement, again, it's one of these left-wing environmental things, massive, millions of dollars behind it, billions of dollars behind it, not organic, it's organized by people that constantly catch private flights all over the world, hypocritical, etc. Paul Joseph Watson has a really good video, about 10 minutes long, summing all, that's what they're doing. Summing all of it up. I'm going to look at the symbolism of this thing. So first of all, let's switch to the web browser. Right there, the hourglass is the symbol of the movement.
Okay.
The hourglass, that, and in fact, not just the hourglass, but that particular hourglass is the symbol of Saturn. Saturn, the god of time. The god... Oh. No, jeez. Didn't click that, you bloody thing. Had a presentation planned. Saturn, the god of eating his own children.
So he was the boomer god.
And you guys might remember this. I'm just going to mute my audio so you don't get an echo.
Is this when we hopped in last night?
We only have a few months left. I love that you support the Green Deal, but it's not getting rid of fossil fuel. It's not going to solve the problem fast enough. A Swedish professor saying, we can eat dead people, but that's not fast enough. So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time. There's too much CO2. All of you we
gotta eat babies.
Too much CO2. We have to start now, please.
We gotta eat the babies, folks. And I'm not saying no. Some kids suck. All right, I need to hear more details on the plan. That's all I'm saying. Like, which babies would be my big question. Which ones? I mean, because some of them just, yeah. I'm sick of seeing these fucking Fortnite dances. So I'm not. But come on, man, that was a fucking troll. That woman was trolling him. And yeah, like AOC didn't tell her to shut up, but that's, as I pointed out last night, it's because, like, you're deer caught in the headlights when you have that kind of shit happen to you. You know, most people tend to just be like, okay, let's move on. When some crazy person says crazy shit to you.
You are so great. I'm so happy that you really support the nuclear deal, but it's not enough. You know, even if we would bomb Russia, we still have too many.
Even if we bomb
All right,
Russia. Okay, that was definitely a troll. You can't tell me that woman. Oh, and I love this fucking boomer here staring. Like, what the fuck? Oh, that was good. Now watch Davis run with this like this was serious.
Domino Mortis points out that this was rumored to be an elaborate troll. It's a confirmed troll.
Okay, all right.
It
Davis
is
a troll.
Absolutely a confirmed troll. Kind of, going with the liberal logic to its natural conclusion. But give it a moment. We're going to go back to the video.
Too much pollution. The babies. And this is.
No, we'll go ahead. It's so no.
Yeah. Look, say what you will about AOC, but like, this happens to politicians. Okay, when you get some crazy supporter in the crowd, and you're a politician by nature, you're trying to be diplomatic, you're trying to defuse everything. It's just let's move on from this fucking PR nightmare. Real quick in the chat, Napoleon says, so you're saying it depends on the child? Yes, I suppose I am. How about that? Oh, Lordy. I mean, the left is already sacrificing its babies anyways in fucking Planned Parenthood. So really, you might as well eat them. You know, I mean, waste not, want not. You know?
No, thank you. So I think, so one of the things that's very important to us is that we need to treat the climate crisis with the urgency that it does present.
Yeah, she's handling it like a fucking trooper. You gotta give her that. Like, yeah, okay. So moving on from this crazy person.
Luckily, we have more than a few months. We do need to hit net zero in several years. But I think we all need to understand that there are a lot of solutions that we have and that we can pursue, and that if we act in a positive way, there's space for hope.
Uh-oh, is Davis pulling a Bechtloff moment with his audio?
Sorry. Yeah, I don't want to get the echo going. These speakers don't have a headphone attachment. Point was that AOC did not say to that lady, no, we're not eating babies. We're not eating old people either. We're not going to, Soylent Green.
Oh, can we eat the boomers? Is that on the table? No pun intended. Because I'm skeptical about the eat the babies thing. I really need to hear more. But eat the boomers? I think I'm on board. I think you got me. That's not even an environmental thing, though. I just want to do that out of spite. I mean, if that happens to help the environment, that's a nice side effect. But I think we just need to do the eat the boomers out of spite.
That's not what's happening. She said, no, it's not that bad yet. We don't need to get there yet. There's other solutions. It's not 3 months, it's 3 years.
Then we got to eat the babies.
This is not outside. Like, again, this is a troll.
Chili's,
the troll is
baby back ribs.
The troll wasn't waving a pink dildo around, okay? Like, do you remember when they had those, somebody put, like, helicopter wings on a dildo and started harassing EU politicians with it? So they're trying to give a speech and there's this pink dildo flying past them.
No, but that sounds
hilarious.
hilarious.
Guys running and trying to jump and grab this pink dildo out of the air. Okay, that's silly trolling. There's no broader comment by that. There's no larger implication. It's a dildo flying by. It's funny. This troll is actually making a real, like, we couldn't actually tell at first, is this a troll or is this actually a liberal? Because this is the natural progression of where they're going. You know,
well, it's the best kind of troll.
Murder old people to save on healthcare costs. Murder babies. And now, why not eat babies? If we're going to murder babies, why not eat babies?
Waste not, want not.
AOC did not reject this. She just said not yet. She said this is in plausible reality space. All right, that liberals are okay with this. Oh, if things are bad enough, shouldn't we eat abortions? It's just protein after all. God, we have the new fetish that is developed. God, did I bring this up? I hate even bringing this up. I don't even want to tell you guys about this. I think you need to hear it, but I don't want you to hear it. So the pregnancy fetish is a normal thing. Men and women have it.
It's a normal thing
at the moment. But there are couples that are intentionally getting pregnant.
It's a normal thing. I don't know about that. I'm not with you on that one. And I mean, I'm up to some kinky shit too. But that's the other thing. I'm not gonna call my shit normal. Like, no, I don't think wanting to fuck a pregnant woman is extremely normal.
Getting off on being pregnant and then aborting the baby. That and planning it beforehand. All of it's planned just to fulfill their sexual fetish. They're murdering a baby for it.
And that just got them to normal.
So, you know what? We go back to this image of Saturn eating his own children. And is this really, is this what liberals actually believe? Am I stretching things?
I love how much of a fake intellectual Davis is. Now, maybe this isn't y'all's, and maybe I'm just pulling this out of nowhere, but past few months I've noticed the Saturn eating his own kids thing has become a meme. I would say maybe in the past 6 months I've seen it. I've seen that image more in the last 6 months than I had in the entire rest of my life. Leading up to that 6 months. And there's just a lot of stuff. Like, you see, like, somebody will take this basic template and they'll put over Saturn the word me, and they'll put over, you know, the god he's eating, a bag of shredded cheese at 3 a.m. Yeah, that kind of thing. But I've seen this meme all over the place. So, again, he's so fake with his knowledge of shit. It's like he sees something being used as a meme, looks up what it is, you know, gets some Wikipedia shit, and spouts off bullshit for an hour and a half.
At this point, when we see what's actually happening out there. Hey, Throom points out, meanwhile, they're pushing for veganism and fake meat. Yeah, absolutely. They're pushing for eating babies and not eating animals. And I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to get back to this reversal of things.
As I pointed out, there are real environmental problems. And I really believe that the reason the elites are pushing the fake meat is because they realize that, look, climate change is horseshit. It's not real. But there are real environmental problems. For one thing, the world at large is already is too overpopulated to feed at anything close to a first world level. The factory farms already can barely keep up. And the factory farms, I mean, those sorts of conditions, never mind how inhumane it is, just on a pragmatic level, it's begging for a superbug to come around and wipe out our livestock, just decimate it. So I really think the elites are trying to push all this fake, disgusting soy burgers and shit because they just want to be prepared for that shit so that, you know, gamers don't rise up on them, as it were. You know, because they'll still be eating their hamburger. Don't worry. It's just, you know, you're not going to be able to afford a real hamburger anymore when that shit happens.
Again, I'm going to say one of those things that the Protestants are going to start vibrating like a pink flying dildo. But the ancient myths are not evil. Our ancestors were not evil. Go study the history.
I never said the ancient myths were evil, Davis. I was long fascinated by mythology. I've looked into mythology quite a bit. I don't believe it to be evil. I believe someone in the modern world, in the here and now, still worshiping Odin is a fucking fool. Is a fucking retard. And 9 times out of 10, they're doing it either as a fuck you dad to their pastor dad or something along those lines, or they're doing it because they're a wignat that worships a race and they want a fucking white god. But no, Davis, I never said that the old myths were evil. However, as a Christian, you should believe that giving your worship to anything but the true God is a sin. And even if our ancestors committed that sin unknowingly, it's still a sin. You committed it knowingly when, for instance, you said amen to a prayer to Odin. Now, hey, I'm not throwing stones at you, because Lord knows my sins are many and great. But doesn't change the fact that what you did there was wrong. And it was for self-serving reasons. You were forming a cult. You were trying to form a cult, get that bag, get that attention, all that shit you were after. But no, I never said the old myths were evil. A lot of them are actually pretty fucked up, though. I won't say blanketly they were evil, but yeah, a lot of them are pretty fucked up. The Greek mythology kind of fucked up. The morality of the Norse mythology is especially fucked up. So in that sense, yeah, I will. But not every myth of an old god or something is something evil. But you turning your worship away from the Father to those fake gods is.
Of your European ancestors, and be proud of them. They were heroic. Good Lord, we wouldn't have the church without the Greeks and the Romans and their pagan gods. All of it integrated very, very well. So this is not...
This man is an atheist. This man is still an atheist in his heart of hearts. No, Davis, we have the church because we have, let's be more specific, we have the Bible because it was a divinely inspired book, okay, because of the providence of God. Now, many, many things may have come together in that providence, sure. But looking at it from the strictly material, strictly political, socio-political view. Oh, it just evolved from the pagan gods.
Some, middle America never read a book. Oh, don't trust the pagan god. They're a pagan.
I don't believe this man's ever read a book either. This man's read a lot of Wikipedia articles on shit. Desperately looking for new charts he can use to prove how he should run society. But I don't believe this man's ever read a book. It's sort of impressive. This man is he's written more books than he's read. That's kind of impressive.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Protestants they're just laughing their asses off, saying, "Oh, I knew Davis worshipped a pagan god." No, I'm a Catholic.
Davis, I don't think you worship anything but the scent of your own asshole.
God revealed himself to many people in many ways before the one true instantiation of the Christ.
No, Davis, whatever the old pagan myths were, they were not paths to God.
The Romans understood what Saturn was. All right? The Romans had a god of the sewers, for crying out loud. And you know what? If I dig, I can find a liberal that worships that god. The Romans did not... It's not a D&D game, idiots. Sorry. Preaching to the choir right now. All right, so let's get back to that symbol of Saturn. So you can see that this symbol of Saturn, oh, it's all in it. Oh no, it's just about we're running out of time. We're running out of time. Yeah, Saturn, the god of time, ergo the hourglass symbol.
That is probably as deep as it went. It's probably just a symbol that we're running out of time. I don't believe anybody put that much thought into it.
I think the god of sewers would be Hillary. So most of these ancient glyphs have both a inverted and outverted form of them. The not exactly the masculine and feminine, because even the 4 elements, there's 2 symbols for each element. The outverted symbol of this one is the hexagon. What's that at the top of Saturn? Oh my god, is that what I think it is?
I feel like I should be playing the X-Files music. Or that montage of people doing the, can you enhance it? Can you enhance it, folks? What's that on top of Saturn? Is it a hexagon? You know what? Actually, that's what we're going to do. Hang on one second, folks. Hang on one second. You know what? I know it's a little late, so the timing on the song isn't right. But you know what? Fuck it. We are going to go ahead and play... Hang on a second. Here we go. Is it going to actually work? There we go. Davis, you got us a mystery. Setting up some mood music for you. All right, go ahead, Davis.
Another place that you find the hexagon. Now, the hexagon's actually a really interesting shape because it's very close to a circle, but it perfectly patterns. So, to go D&D for a second, the reason that Dungeons & Dragons uses a hex-shaped grid, or for you computer nerds, the reason that the original Fallouts used a hex-shaped grid is because you can perfectly pattern a flat surface, and it's very, very close to a circle. And this is why, when a mud field dries out and cracks, you see a hexagrammatical grid.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, the hexagon is the symbol of time, of death. And that's these people are holding up a symbol of death. They are waving a flag of death. They are worshiping a death god. You thought Kek was bad? These people are worshiping a death god. Yeah, and you could go to a second level of symbols. Why is it in games? Well, in games, the environment is effectively dead. The environment is predetermined. It's flat. It doesn't move. Right? Not like reality. Reality is always moving. Life is always... And we're going to get to that later on, by the way. We're going to talk about what is life later on in the stream. But, yeah, it's the game grid is a death grid. Like, there is nothing... The living things move on top of the grid. The grid itself is no longer living. It's dead Earth. So these people are waving a flag of Saturn without even realizing it. Doesn't matter if they realize it or not. they're waving a flag of Saturn. And this brings us to more demonology. So, I'm going to show you a little bit of this video. I'm going to mute it again. I won't show you too much, because I don't want you to suffer through it. Or laugh too hard, because this... I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. So, here we go. Wait, you know what I can do?
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna play.
I can play it through my speakers, and you will hear the audio. It won't be good audio, but do you care about the audio on this? You've got.
I don't think they'd be listening to you if they care
this
about
absolute foolish white man who really ought to have a shirt on, with his smelly dreadlocks. You know that knife crime is at an absolute peak right now in London, and these, instead of investigating crimes, these police officers, who, by the way, they look soft, don't they? These are not warriors.
Every cop
these
looks
are,
soft.
They spend more
like 9
time
out of 10 of them
learning
do.
about how to use the proper pronouns than how to be
Most
warriors.
cops are 200 pounds of donut batter slathered over a
They've got this
skeleton.
absolute fool.
Gun holster holding it in place.
What a clown. What an embarrassment. Like, what an embarrassment to the white race.
To the white race!
Anyway, that's enough of this nonsense.
Okay, I didn't want to play music when he was also playing music, because I know
I'm
that
going to trust that
sounds
you
like
guys have seen a
cacophony.
few of these videos.
So,
I've tweeted a few
let me
of
get
them
back
out.
to the mood music.
But these...
Hang on a second.
All of these extinction event people... they're doing these ridiculous dances. Absolute ridiculous dances. Have you guys heard of the dancing plagues?
No, but you should all Google the
From
dancing
Wikipedia.
Israelis.
The dancing plague of 1518 was a case of dancing mania that occurred in Strasbourg, Alsace. Now
Wait.
Empire in July 1518. Around 400 people took
Wait,
to dancing
we gotta
for
hear
days
this
without
again.
Rest and
The dancing plague.
mania that occurred. Dancing mania that occurred in Strasbourg, Alsace, now modern-day France, in the Holy Roman Empire in July 1518. Around 400 people took to dancing for days without rest, and over the period of about 1 month, some of those affected collapsed or even died of heart attack, stroke, or exhaustion. The event began in July 1518.
Oh my god, that is. Look, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Maybe he's completely right here. That's literally the plot to a fucking music video for. Shit, you know what? I don't care for copyright strike. We're gonna play a little bit of a music video here a second. Let me hang on a second, folks. We can go out of window sharing. So what he's describing here, the dancing plague, where people turned into dancing zombies, I guess. Oh god, what was that song? Hang on, give me a sec here, folks. I'm trying. It's like right at the tip of my consciousness. I'm trying to remember. Let me see. Here we go. Here we go.
Assholes.
Hang on. I remember it now. I found it now. Hang on a second, folks. Hang on. We're gonna see a modern day reenactment of the dancing plague. Okay, hang on a second. Let's go back to screen share. Have- Hang on, let's skip ahead a little bit. See ya.
Hey man!
What the hell? Where's all the people at, man? Hey, what's amazing dancing? What's that, the T-step? Doing the walk too, see? What the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all insane? What you mean? What's going on? Ever since that song came out, every day they've been shuffling. Monday shuffle, Tuesday shuffle, everybody. The whole world. I ain't scared of everything. It will get in your bones. The truth. It's playing. I never see me smoking. Oh, there you go. No. He's on. Hey, man.
That was literally the plot to an LMFAO fucking music video. I've never heard of the dancing plague though. Is that a real fucking thing, or is that like some bullshit he's misreading? Because that's kind of fucking cool. Like, why isn't there a movie based on that? That's awesome. People actually turned into dancing zombies. You're saying? Is that a real supposed fucking event? That's awesome. Holy crap, Davis! Did you actually teach us something interesting about history? Mike, it's about time. That's fucking cool. I want to look into that shit. That's awesome. That's cool as fuck. Hang on. The Dancing Plague. There it is. Fuck yeah. The Dancing Plague of 1518. This is awesome. My God, Davis, did you actually teach us something cool? Hats off. Hats off, Davis. I'm impressed. Hours and hours of fucking bullshit ramblings. You actually taught us something cool. The outbreak began in July 1518 when a woman, Miss Toffee, began to dance fervently in a street in Strasbourg. This lasted somewhere between 4 and 6 days. Within a week, 34 others had joined. Within a month, there were around 400 dancers, predominantly female. Some of these would die from heart attack, stroke, or exhaustion. One report indicates that for a period, the plague killed around 15 people per day. However, the sources of the city of Strasbourg at the time of the events did not mention the number of deaths or even if there were fatalities. Historical documents, including physician notes, cathedral sermons, and local and regional chronicles, and even notes listed by Strasbourg City Council, are clear that the victims danced. It is not known why these people danced, some even to their deaths. As the dancing plague worsened, concerned nobles every day they shuffle it. Concerned nobles sought the advice of local physicians who ruled out astrological and supernatural causes. How do you rule out supernatural causes exactly? Instead, announcing that the plague was a, quote, natural disease caused by hot blood. However, instead of prescribing bleeding, authorities encouraged more dancing. In part by opening two guide halls and a grain market, and even constructed a wooden stage. The authorities did this because they believed the dancers would recover only if they danced continuously night and day. To increase the effectiveness of the cure, authorities even paid for musicians to keep the afflicted moving. This strategy was a disaster. Shit. After those policies were applied, the illness underwent a dramatic growth. Performing dances in more public spaces facilitated the spread of the psychic contagion. Historian John Waller stated that a marathon runner could have lasted the intense workout that these men and women did hundreds of years ago. That's fucking awesome. That's cool as shit. Somebody in the chat asked that they do the monster mash. Yes, they did. I imagine they did. I can't dance, so I'm immune to this. Indeed, Chad. I wouldn't be able to do it either, so. Oh, dude. This is fucking fantastic. I wonder if the people that made that music video got inspiration from this. This is actually cool. I am impressed. I am genuinely impressed, Davis. You actually managed tell us something interesting here. Modern theories include food poisoning caused by the toxic and psychoactive chemical products of ergot fungi, which grows commonly on grains and wheat in the wheat family. So a fungus got in people's brains and made them dance to death? That's fucking ridiculous. That was used for baking bread. Ergotamine is the main psychoactive product of the ergot fungi. It is structurally related to the drug, I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce those, and is a substance from which LSD-25 was originally synthesized. The same fungus has been implicated in other major historical anomalies, including the Salem witch trials. However, Waller in the Lancet argues that this theory does not seem tenable, since it's unlikely that those poisoned by ergot could have danced for days at a time, nor would so many people have reacted to its psychotropic chemicals in the same way. The ergotism theory also fails to explain why virtually every outbreak occurred somewhere along the Rhine and Moselle rivers, areas linked by water but with quite different climates and crops. Waller speculates that the dancing was stress-induced psychosis on a mass level, since the region where the people danced was riddled with starvation and disease, and the inhabitants tend to be superstitious. 7 other cases of dancing plague were reported in the same region during the medieval era. This could have been a florid example of psychogenic movement disorder happening in mass hysteria or mass psychological illness, which involves many individuals, small groups of to almost 1,000 people, suddenly exhibiting the same strange behavior. The behavior spreads rapidly and broadly in an epidemic pattern. The sufferers are primarily adolescent families. This kind of component could have been caused by the elevated levels of psychological stress, i.e. despair caused by intensely ruthless years. The psychogenic illness could have created a chorea, a situation comprising random and intricate unintentional movements that fit from the body part, that flip from body part to body part. Interesting. This is actually fucking interesting as shit, man. That's cool as hell. I wonder what blog he got this from. Like, I'd like to actually read whatever source Davis is ripping off here. So he says Bechtloff is easily impressed. Are you kidding me? This is like the... People turned into dancing zombies for completely unknown fucking reasons. And that's not interesting to you? I don't know. You are entertained by different stuff than me, I guess. Alright, well, let's get back to David. Maybe he'll actually teach us something else interesting. I doubt it. I really don't think lightning's striking twice. But who knows? Who knows? It's, you know. Isn't it a hunter's moon tonight? You know, it's a... Who knows what can happen? Let's get back to screen share.
When a woman, Mrs. Trophea, began to dance fervently in the street in Strasbourg. This lasted somewhere between 4 and 6 days. Within a week, 34 others had joined, and within a month, there were around 400 dancers.
Yeah, we already read that.
17th century. So, yeah, 16th century.
Skip ahead.
You are constantly attacked from the outside by demonic forces. Constantly harassed, made ill, violently flinged around, or just bombarded with thoughts. This is one I get fairly often. You know, I often I'm bombarded with negative thoughts when they don't want me to do something. Or bombarded with sexual thoughts when I'm, trying to be chaste. Those type of things.
Dave's going to start dancing anytime here soon.
This is a really bad case of it. It's also possible possession. But not the possession where the demon has to work itself in, but where the subject invites the demon in. And so we see these lunatics dancing for the human extinction movement while waving around the flag of Saturn. They've already opened themselves up by waving around that flag unknowingly. But they are also...
Wait, is he saying that Saturn is really a demon? He shifts so much in what he, and it's never like an evolution or something. It's just whatever he's latched onto. But this all really, like, this is what you were saying like 2 years ago, and I was sort of on board with you, even though I thought you went a little fucking X-Files on us. But this isn't what you were saying like a year and a half ago, when you were hanging out with the Odinists and the Priest of Hell. You were gonna summon Gozer to come get me because I laughed at you. Like, it's not what you were doing a year and a half ago. But no, that's, you Protestants think the mythology's evil. Well, no, you just said having a sign of Saturn opened you up to demons. So which is it? I'm not the one saying that. I don't necessarily think waving around a fucking sign of an old time god because you're trying to make a point while we're running out of time. On a protest sign, I don't necessarily think that opens you up to demons. I imagine the people doing it are doing a whole lot of other shit that just might open them up to demons. But that ain't it. That ain't it, Chief.
Domina says, Father Ripperger breaks it down really well. That man scared me into good behavior. Yeah, go watch Father Ripperger instead of me. That guy's awesome. Father Ripperger is solid. Do you know his name is Chad? Chad Ripperger? Like the most alpha priest you've ever seen. Go watch him after this. Keep watching me. Yeah, when you open the door to influences and temperamentally, psychologically, you are fully willing to go along with them, yeah, those they are going to take you over.
Somebody in the chat asks, are we human or are we dancer? That's an excellent question.
Yeah, I'm going to do a bit of idle speculation here. This is just a little bit of idle speculation. Most of our Indo-European gods represented very positive forces. I'm gonna, not imperfect, but incomplete forces. They each kind of had their domain that they represented, because as humans, we're very complex creatures. We have all these different elements, all these different aspects to how virtue builds up to arete. By the way, you know what? I'm totally gonna pimp my buddy Laramie Hirsch out. He had a great article.
Laramie Hirsch, once again, reminder, the guy who believed that the Catholic Church should have destroyed the Bible.
About arete. But the gods, the Indo-European gods were gods of different passions, but not, for the most part, some of them were evil. You know, Fenris, not a good guy.
Most of them were
just
dirtbags.
Incomplete. They weren't the perfect, complete human being. They were one aspect of the human being. And with the Christianization of Europe, they became incorporated. Again, the matters in the supernatural realm. Well, Fenris wasn't a god. He ate the sun, okay? Anything that eats the sun is high enough up that I don't want to mess with it. Demigod, right? I mean, you've got the frost giants as the original life. It's metaphorical. I mean, anything supernatural is metaphorical, okay? The supernatural realm is the realm of metaphor. No. I know what Loki got up to in his spare time.
No, Davis. The supernatural is very real.
And again, we find variations.
Again, this man's basically Catholic Jordan Peterson.
Consistency. There's obviously an original root. There's original understanding. I believe there are supernatural aspects to all of this, and I do not believe that. I don't believe a God of justice can be evil. Put it that simple. Now, these were all incorporated into Christendom. For a long time, we had this rich pageantry, this supernatural world, this understanding of the supernatural that was not... I mean, like, who wants to go to Protestant heaven? Who wants to go sit on a cloud and play a harp for the rest of eternity? That's not what I'm into.
Yeah,
right?
we know what you're into, Davis, and nobody does it in heaven. There's no banging pre-op trainees in heaven. Oh shit, knocking things over. But no actual Protestant believes in that shit. Okay, something you saw in a fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon is not actually Protestant theology.
Standings of heaven and hell from our ancestors. These were not simplistic. And heroism in battle was as much of a virtue as piety and humbleness, right? Catholicism is complex.
Some might say nonsensical.
It's why it was so easy to Christianize Europe. It's why all the people went along with it very easily. Yeah, there's politics involved. We can argue about that until the cows come home. But it didn't.
I don't know. I'm starting to get a little bored with this, folks. What do you think? Should we move on to something else? Let's see. What do you think? Should we move on to something else here? I'll let the chat decide. We got 45 people watching now. That's like what? That's 4.5 arenas watching. Says Davis is admitting Catholicism is pagan. Just hope everyone hears that. Okay. He says, nah. Some people are saying stick with this, I guess. I'm not crazy, just complex, crazy lady. I don't know. I guess if y'all are enjoying it, I guess we'll keep going.
Bleach that culture away. It was Christian scholars that maintained the legends of the old pagan gods of the Indo-European people. So here's my speculation. Here's my idle speculation. With the cheap plastic Christianity available in America, known as Protestantism, has forced... First of all, it's a heresy. Okay, it's a rejection of Logos. It's a rejection...
Oh, God, with the Logos. No, Davis, I don't worship Logos. Okay, or Mary or Saturn or any of the other horseshit you come up with. All right? Logos isn't my savior. I don't know. I'm genuinely bored with this tonight, folks. I'm not... Nah. Let's see. I'm gonna find something else. I'm sorry. It's the same thing. I'm just trying to have something we can laugh at. Not once again, Davis is misrepresenting once again, Davis is lying. Okay, he's lying about things I've said. He's lied about what Protestantism is. You know, he's lied about the nature of why he's only live streaming to 9 people. Once again, Davis is lying, and it's tiring to point it out. Let's find something else. Shit. What the fuck else is there even tonight? I don't know. We went for over an hour. I might just wrap it up. You want to learn how the logo saved Christmas? No, I don't. Somebody says anyone who says Chad Ripperger and doesn't follow it with is a lunatic is a lunatic. I don't know. I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap this up. I don't really have any other cringe tonight to watch. So. Folks, if you enjoy the content I put out, do consider supporting the show. We got the PayPal, Patreon, and Amazon wish list. Logos. Yes, indeed. PayPal, Patreon, and Amazon wish list. Always you can support the show. Somebody just recently got me a little Freddy Krueger figure off the Amazon wish list. That was very nice. Thank you very much. And like, comment, subscribe, all that other stuff. All right. That's about all we got for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. Bechtloff out.